All right, welcome back everyone. This is Noah again, and in this video we're going to look through the solution to the Now You Try problem, where we find a horizontal intercept by completing the square and using square roots. So we have a popular game where you shoot birds across your phone screen. A bird is launched from a slingshot 5 feet above the ground. The apex of the flight occurs 15 feet to the right of the launch point and 50 feet off the ground. The height of the bird with respect to how far to the right it has traveled can be modeled by h of x equals negative 1/5 times x minus 15 squared plus 50. And we want to know how far horizontally from the slingshot does the bird hit the ground. So we've got a slingshot here, and we are launching a bird, and we've got the ground here. The height that we're launching from is 5 feet, and the bird launches up, and it hits an apex up there, and then it comes back down, and it's going to hit somewhere over here, right? And this apex occurs 15 feet to the right and 50 feet up. And we want to know what is this distance all the way over to where it hits the ground. All right, so this happens when the height is 0, so we'll set 0 as the output here. 0 equals negative 1/5 times x minus 15 all to the second plus 50. And we're going to start by subtracting 50 from both sides. And so we'll have negative 50 equals negative 1/5 times x minus 15 squared. We'll then go ahead and multiply both sides by negative 5 to clear the negative 1/5. When we do that, we'll get 250 equals x minus 15 quantity squared. And then we'll go ahead and take the square root of both sides, remembering that when we do that, we need a plus or minus on that square root. So we'll have plus or minus the square root of 250 equals x minus 15. And then we can add the 15 to both sides, so that we get x equals 15 plus or minus the square root of 250. From this, we'll get x is either 15 plus the square root of 250. And let's get an approximation for that real quick. Pull out the calculator here. This is 15 plus the square root of 250. 15 plus the square root of 250 is 30.8. The other x value is going to be 15 minus the square root of 250, and that will be approximately, change that plus to a minus, and we get negative 0.8. And so we'll go ahead and conclude with the bird hits the ground approximately 30.8 feet to the right of the slingshot. That's it. That's all we're going for here. And one thing that I should have said maybe in the last video that I didn't get to was that we actually haven't done any completing the square, that phrase that I used. This has already had its square completed. So we're going to talk more about what that means in the following videos as we start to do it. But we need to just get used to this process of using the square root in order to solve for x. And this only works if I have just something squared here. So this we call the vertex form for a quadratic. Where we have just a single x shown and it's inside that square. And so we're going to be learning how to put something into that vertex form, both this class and next class, and using this process of completing the square. But the reason that we do that is so that we can take the square roots in order to solve for x. And this is actually going to give us the proof of the quadratic formula. So that's just a little bit of the motivation of what we're doing and why we're doing it here. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.